Welcome to Chapter 12. This is Chapter 12. Section 1, and we're going to be focused on our new idea of forces. So, what we talked about in Chapter 11 was velocity and acceleration. Well, now we're going to take this idea of acceleration and we're going to apply it to a mass. So, what's happening if a mass is going a certain acceleration? Well, a mass going in a certain acceleration is going to have a force. Now, what is a force? A force is a push or pull of an object in any direction. So it's a push or pull of an object in any direction. So this is if a object really starts to accelerate in any direction. So that push or pull is going to accelerate the object. So again, a force is a push or pull in any direction. We can measure it by spring scales, which we'll talk about in the lab. The unit for force is newtons. Now, obviously, that's after Sir Isaac Newton. We'll talk a little bit more about why Newton. It's named after Newton and the forces in which Newton discovered and how he kind of discovered them and how they work. So force is a push or pull. Its unit is newtons. If we're going to get real technical, its unit is mass times acceleration. The unit for mass is kilograms. The unit for acceleration is meters per second squared. So the true unit for a newton is kilograms times meters per second squared. And just like velocity or acceleration or distance and displacement, we can use arrows or vectors to represent direction and strength. So the direction of an arrow is going to represent the direction of the force. The length is going to represent the strength. So obviously the arrow on the left here is going down, and it's a much stronger force than the arrow on the right because the arrow on the left is much longer. Likewise, we can combine forces together. All right, so forces can be added together. The top example would be if two people were pushing on an object together. The middle example here is you can subtract. That would be very similar if someone was pushing on an object and another person was pulling on that object. All right. And perfectly, if someone's pushing at 10 newtons and someone's pulling at 10 newtons, their forces can be balanced out and equal 0. So forces, a force is a push or pull in any direction. And its main unit that we're going to use, the only unit for force, is the newton. That kind of summarizes section 12.1, Introduction to Forces. This is Mr. Klenner, and I am signing off.